Have you ever avoided trying to do something because you were waiting until just the right time? Solomon talks about that just a little bit in Ecclesiastes chapter 11 when he writes, beginning in verse 2, if the clouds are full of rain, they empty themselves on the earth, and if a tree falls to the south or the north, then the place where the tree falls, there it shall lie. I know that doesn't exactly sound like what the question I asked at the beginning, but listen to the next verse in which he asks, he who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. He's talking about circumstances in which people are waiting for cause and effect. And really what he illustrates here in the first verse that I read about clouds dropping rain and trees falling and lying where they fall, well, that's just an obvious cause and effect. And it's kind of almost like a, well, duh, yeah, that's the case. And yet we, as human beings, instead of taking the obvious cause and effect sometimes, we overanalyze things and we wait until we think what's the right moment to do something, and that often causes us not to even do what we're thinking about doing. Because he says, he who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. In other words, he's illustrating it with a farmer, but it can be any circumstances in which I'm waiting for just the right moment to go and plant my crops, or I'm waiting for just the right moment when the weather's just perfect, or when circumstances are just perfect, cause and effect, then I'll go and I will reap my crops and I'll do this. We do that all the time in various circumstances, and sometimes it has serious spiritual implications. For instance, we might say, when circumstances are just right, I'll obey the gospel. Or when circumstances are just right, I'll reconcile with my family that I haven't spoken to in years. And we overanalyze this cause and effect, and because we make up these arbitrary rules as to what needs to happen for me to do what I'm supposed to do, we never do it. And we leave undone the things that we really need to do. Clouds don't act that way. Trees that fall don't act that way. Neither should we.